There are some extremely disturbing allegations that have come out against Nick Carter, who is a part of the Backstreet Boys and unfortunately recently lost his brother, Aaron Carter. These allegations are extremely dark, extremely disturbing, and very upsetting to hear about. I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s listening to the Backstreet Boys. Hearing about these allegations, and some of them that have been around since I was a child that I didn't know about, are extremely upsetting. It's always disheartening when you hear things like this from a band that you really love, music that you know by heart. I saw them in concert for the first time a few years ago for my birthday. This sucks. With that being said, I have heard some things about Nick Carter even before this, and also I watched the Carter show that they had, which was called House of Carters. It was a reality show that followed the Carter family.
Please no music. You say this every night. Yeah, but let me tell you something real quick. You're gonna turn the music down and respect me, hey, all right? Spit in my face, all right? Dog. Don't spit in my face, all right? Man. You're gonna respect me. Don't spit in my face. You're gonna respect me. Don't spit in my face, Nick. You're gonna Don't spit in my face. I'm sick of you doing this to me. Stop it. Me. Stop it. You're gonna respect me. Stop it. What are you doing? You're gonna respect. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? You're gonna respect my house. Get out of my room. What are you doing? No, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
You guys, no, don't.
You came at me. You don't see what he did to me? Shut up. I didn't come at you. Excuse me? I walk away from you. Every time you fight with me, I run away from you. Excuse me? You're not a good person, and everybody sees it, Nick. I'm not a good person. Because of what you do. What I do, I never do that. You came at me, Aaron. You're gonna respect my face. I'm sick of you. Stop it. What are you doing? You don't remember getting hold of me in my face? You don't remember that? And that's when you bit me. My face. I'm sick of you. He goes like this. He goes like this with my face up against door like that.
There's intention.
All because of the Paris situation.
This civil lawsuit was filed on Thursday, December 8th in Nevada by Shannon Shea Ruth. At the time, she was 17 years old and she was a fan that was on his tour bus following a 2001 concert in Washington. She claims that SA took place on this tour bus by Nick Carter after a concert in Tacoma, Washington. So Nick Carter brought her on the bus and then he gave her a drink that he called VIP juice, which had alcohol in it. Now, during this alleged incident, Shannon said that she was begging him to stop, of which he would not. Shannon is 39 years old today, but at the time she was only 17. And she also says that she took this long to come forward because she was afraid of retaliation. Ruth's lawyers wrote in a complaint that he told the plaintiff she would go to jail if anyone told anyone what happened between them. He said that he was Nick Carter and that he had the power to do that. Due to his various threats, plaintiff did not report Carter's claims for many years. To make this even worse, she also allegedly got HPV from this encounter.
And the last 21 years have been filled with pain, confusion, frustration, shame. Even though I'm autistic and live with cerebral palsy, I believe that nothing has affected me more or had a more lasting impact on my life. I remember him calling me, grabbing me, and leaving bruises on my arm. Carter tried to scare me into silence by saying no one would believe me if I told what happened. He was nasty and threatening, saying I would go to jail if I told. He also said he'd turn people against me because he was Nick Carter and he had the power to wreck my life.
A lawsuit was filed on behalf of 3 other unnamed Jane Doe accusers who allegedly experienced similar attacks by Nick Carter between the years 2003 and 2006. Now, all 3 of these women were also given alcohol before being forced to have sex with him, and one was allegedly similarly underage. Now, before I continue on with this video, it's really important to make note of this, that his lawyer, Michael Holtz, has said that none of these things are true, and Nick Carter denies these allegations. He says this claim about an incident that supposedly took place more than 20 years ago was not only legally meritless, but also entirely untrue. Unfortunately, for several years now, Miss Ruth has been manipulated into making false allegations about Nick, and those allegations have changed repeatedly and materially over time. No one should be fooled by a press stunt orchestrated by an opportunistic lawyer. There is nothing in this claim whatsoever, which we have no doubt the courts will quickly realize. He says that she has been coerced into making these allegations about Nick Carter, and that she has come out with allegations against him multiple times but changed her story. Now, upon doing my research, I did come across a few other things that I wanted to include in this video, so I apologize that the audio is different. One of the things I came across is this DM that is allegedly Shay. In this DM, she says, "I feel bad. I didn't get hurt by Nick like Melissa and Ashley did." What you guys will learn later on in this video is what happened to Melissa, and Ashley is probably one of the Jane Does. She said, "He hurt me by saying really mean things and bullying me. I feel like I don't really have a right to talk about it or be in the fight because what Melissa and Ashley went through is much worse."
They had somebody create a Twitter account and pretend to be my friend and tell me that I could trust them. And at this time, I didn't fully remember everything until last year. So at the time that this person was talking to me about what had happened, I told them, and I had sent them a DM, and I don't remember all of it because I haven't been on Twitter, so I haven't looked at it. But I sent them a DM that said something like, "Can I tell you something? I feel bad because I wasn't hurt the way that Ashley and Melissa were."
Right.
And for me, I still, and I don't know why, I still can't even say the word rape. I have to say hurt. That's my way of saying it. And so for me, like, I was just trying to process, like, because I didn't remember the things that he had done. And so it's like, and I had heard about all the horrible things that he'd done to some of the other survivors. And I was like, okay, so my story means nothing compared to what he did to them. That's what I meant by them. I never said he never me. And so they're posting that DM online saying, "See, Shay's exposed, she's a liar."
This was also sent in 2019, so it was sent 3 years ago, and she's claiming that these things happened in 2001. I'm curious how this is going to hold up in court if there is a DM that is proven to be her saying that he did not do the thing that he did to Melissa, which is interesting because what happened to Melissa is almost exactly the same thing that Shay alleges happened to her. Some other people that do not believe these allegations to have credibility to them don't believe it because she claims she met Nick at an autograph signing. But apparently during the 2001 Black and Blue tour, they did not have autograph signings.
They didn't have autograph signings at that tour. They didn't do meet and greets. Also, she had claimed that she was traumatized her entire life, but yet she seems to be tweeting Nick Carter and Aaron Carter. On the news, she admitted that this traumatized her in her entire life. Don't forget that she had a transmitted disease, and all of this is proof, but yet she admits in this video that she doesn't even remember until she had therapy. She didn't remember years and years until she had therapy. At the top left, you can clearly see that she admitted that she didn't get hurt by Nick in 2019. Nick had a girlfriend, Tiffany, on the road with him back in 2001. And if you look at the right-hand upper corner, there were no autograph signings. And if you look down, she is actually tweeting Nick Carter back in 2017.
But what we're gonna go further into is these other allegations before I get into the ones with Paris Hilton and one of the singers from Dream. We're gonna talk about some of these Jane Doe accusations because a lot of them are not only very similar to her story, but they took place within the years of these other Jane Does that Shannon's lawyer is saying is a part of this lawsuit. So I'm curious if these are the Jane Does that he's talking about. Now, over on my members content, I am going to be sharing with you guys the full details of everything that he is accused of. I'm going to be saying everything exactly as it's worded, but unfortunately YouTube will not allow me to say that in this video. So I'm not able to tell you guys in graphic detail what he's actually accused of, but if you guys would like to go and become a member, you can watch the full uncensored video. It's also going to be a longer version of this one, so definitely consider becoming a member to hear that, but I'll tell you guys as much as I can, as much as YouTube will let me. In December of 2003, an underage girl claimed that she had been in the Carter home and that she had slept with Nick Carter. When she filed this complaint, she said that she had lied about her age. She had told them that she was 18 years old, and in the legal documents it says that she was between the ages of 12 and 16, so I'm not exactly sure what age she was, but she was somewhere between that age range. But she did say that she told the Carters that she was 18. Now, she stayed in the Carter family home, and this is backed up by Aaron Carter. He did say that this girl stayed in their home, so that is backed up by Aaron Carter that did occur. The alleged victim, who is referred to as AJ in the police report, contacted Southern Regional Police Department in Pennsylvania, where she resides. The case was then transferred to Monroe County, where the incident took place on January 23rd, 2004. Now, AJ, who she is identified as in these documents, said that she wanted Nick to go to prison for these accusations against him. She said that she went to the Carter family home on 2 different occasions. During this occasion, she was given alcohol multiple times, and she also got extremely drunk. AJ stated that she had intercourse with Nick Carter on 3 occasions. The first time was in the water, the second time on the bus, and the third time on Nick's boat. She advised that she never told him no or acted as though she didn't want to have sex. AJ also stated that they never used any type of protection and that she was not taking birth control pills. She also said that there were parties that involved drugs and alcohol. She said that the times that they had intercourse, that she had been drinking, but she knew what was going on and that she consented. The third time that they had intercourse, she said she was extremely intoxicated, had slurred speech, and she wasn't able to walk very well. And also that they had oral, but AJ explained that she didn't want to perform it on him, but he kept asking over and over and over until she did, and it left her feeling pressured. Now, the interesting thing is that the detective did speak to Aaron Carter, who he said that she did stay on the property, but that everything was consensual and that everybody believed she was 18 at the time. And Aaron also said that he slept with her, which was backed up by things that she said as well. Now, a friend of Nick and Aaron's sister, Angel, who is referred to as KH in the report, said that AJ was never too drunk to not know what was going on around her, and that she lied about her age so that she could be with Nick, and that nobody forced her to drink, and she bragged about being with both Nick and Aaron Carter. The assistant state attorney said that they were not going to prosecute the case because of the delay in her reporting the incident, the fact that she portrayed she was 18, and that they believed she was 18, and that she was able to travel far away from home with no supervision, with her own money, and stay for weeks at a time. So for those reasons alone, any reasonable person would believe that she were at least that age. Now, another allegation that was posted on Radar Online is extremely disturbing. Now, this accusation comes from a 20-year-old fan in 2006. An officer spoke with the alleged victim, who did complete a kit, and she chose not to identify herself to respect her privacy. And they took her clothes. There were no visible injuries or anything like that. And of course, like what happens with a lot of these kits, nothing was done about this. Now, here's what I'm curious about. I'm curious if these allegations from these 2 cases are the Jane Does that are a part of this new case that was just filed. There is a lot of other accusations against Nick Carter for awful things, and they don't just come from random people, they come from people who have made a name for themselves. There is one girl by the name of Melissa Schuman who came out and accused him of her. She was a singer from the band Dream. In 2017, she came out with a blog post where she detailed what Nick had done to her in 2003 and the incidents that took place after the fact, where her career was basically ruined after the things that occurred with Nick. She claims that he basically forced himself into her mouth. I can't go into detail about that over here, but obviously that will be in members content if you guys want to hear the full thing. But you can find this blog post that is now deleted on the Wayback Machine. So I'm going to go over just a little bit of that here, but I will go over the full thing in my members. She said in this blog post the reason why that she did not come forward earlier was because she had actually tried to. She didn't have the money, the clout, or access to an attorney who was powerful enough to stand up against him at the time. She was told that she would likely be buried in humiliation, accused of being fame hungry, and that it would ultimately hurt her more professionally as well publicly. At the time, she was more focused on building a career and name for herself, and that she didn't want what he did to further affect her life and future. Said her first impression of him was that he was kind and charismatic, and that he asked if she would like to hang out with him and his friend at the Santa Monica apartment on their day off of shooting, and she said yes. That is when she invited her roommate to come with her. He took her to an office and went on his computer and started to play music that he was working on. He turned off the light and they sat there with the computer light listening to his new stuff, and then they started to kiss. She said that he was aware that she was a virgin and that she held to religious conservative Christian values and that she was very vocal about this. She said after kissing for a moment, he brought her into the bathroom at the door and he continued to kiss, and that she asked what they were doing in there and he didn't respond as he continued to kiss her. He then picked her up and put her on the counter and started to unbutton her pants, and then she said that she did not want to go any further and that he didn't listen, he didn't care, and he said, "Don't worry, I won't tell anybody." Regardless of her telling him to stop, he didn't. "Don't worry, I won't tell anybody" was posted by Melissa Schuman on November 2nd, 2017. She said, "I'm about to share something that I've wanted to pretend never happened since I was 18, a burden I thought I'd have to carry for the rest of my life and suffer in silence." Let's rewind a bit. The first time we spoke was briefly over the phone while I was filming This Is Me remix music video with my group Dream and then boss P. Diddy. I took the phone call. He was very polite and the conversation was quick. Fast forward a few years later, he and I were casted into the same made-for-TV movie.
Said, "Hey, you know, do you want to come and hang at my place in Santa Monica?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds like fun." You know, they had purchased alcohol beforehand. I wasn't somebody who drank a lot. I don't drink at all, to be quite honest, and they offered me something to drink. It didn't seem like a dangerous situation. It seemed like it was a casual hangout. It wasn't like we were partying like crazy, like doing shots and shots and shots. It wasn't like that.
Soon after, he asked me if I would like to come into his office and listen to some new music that he was working on. I agreed and was eager to hear his new music. Turned off the light and we sat there in the computer light listening to his new stuff, and naturally we started to kiss.
And he told me to sit on his lap. So I sat on his lap and we started to kiss. That was consensual. I didn't feel like he forced me to do that. I felt moved to do it in that moment. Very quickly, it like escalated between consent to what the heck is going on.
After kissing for a moment, he took my hand and he brought me into the bathroom. He shut the door and we continued to kiss. I asked him what we were doing in there. He didn't respond and he continued to kiss me. I told him I didn't want to go any further. He didn't listen, he didn't care. He told me, "Don't worry, I won't tell anybody." I told him to stop, but he didn't. So I turned off the bathroom light so I wouldn't see anything. He kept turning the light back on because he told me he wanted to look at me. I remember at that point that maybe after this he will just stop, but he didn't.
I remember in that moment horror, confusion, blame. I wanted to already start to forget it, so I tried to turn off the light. And then he turned it back on and told me that he wanted to look at me. And I just remember that moment, like, trying to look away, like, look up, look to the side.
Someone in the house knocked on the bathroom door, so he took me into the other bathroom to pick up where we left off. He then took off his pants. He was upset. He told me, "I did it for you, and it's only right you do it for me." I felt scared and trapped. He was visually and clearly growing very angry and impatient with me. I couldn't leave. It was evident to me that I couldn't leave. My thought was the only way to get out was to let him finish what he had started. That's where I saw myself, my reflection, watching myself do something that I was sickened by.
You know, "I did it for you, now you have to do it for me." And I remember in that moment being like, "But I didn't ask you to do that for me." And it was just like a feeling of like somehow I was responsible for that. And it was really hard for me to process it, so I declined. So when he put my hand on his body, I felt like that was like maybe my way out.
Same as before, his appetite was still not satisfied and now took me to the bedroom. He was relentless, refusing to take my nose for an answer. He was heavy too, heavy to get out from under him. Then I felt it, asked him what it was, and he whispered in my ear once more, "It's all me, baby." It was done. The one thing that I held as virtue had been ruined. I went limp, turned my head to my left, and decided I would just go to sleep now. I wanted to believe it was some sort of nightmare I was dreaming up.
I had already been like resisting, like there was so much energy. I was getting tired. Like I was tired of resisting. And then I just remember lying there, and I just remember at that point turning my head and just wanting to fall asleep and act like it was just all a bad dream.
Some things that I uncovered from people who do not believe these stories is there is some live streams that Melissa has done where she is dancing to Nick's music. She's also really excited about this new show called Boy Bands, which Nick was a judge on.
One of the accusers, by the way, they all know each other and they've all been in contact for a while. She's literally rooting Nick Carter on when his song comes on. Ready for this?
Who's this? Who is this? What's happening right now? It's Stassi. Oh, it's Nick. It's Nick!
I'm sorry, but if I was traumatized by someone who SA'd me, then I would never cheer them on and never get excited that they were on the radio.
She also apparently said she wanted to be a judge on the same show. I could not find that clip, so I do not know if she actually said that or not, but this is something that she allegedly said, and people are like, why are you wanting to watch him on TV, and why are you wanting to dance to his music? There was also another live stream that she was doing that had about 20 viewers on it, and in this live stream somebody's telling her that Nick's dad passed away. You can hear her saying, poor guy, he's gone through so much, and that we should pray for him.
No, what happened with Nick Carter's dad? Please tell me it's positive. I'm excited for this new show, Boy Bands. Hopefully it's as good as like American Idol and stuff. I'll have to Google what happened to Nick Carter's dad. Oh my gosh, no it didn't. Oh my gosh. That poor guy has gone through so much. His sister, now his dad. Poor guy. He's been through it, man, I'll tell ya. So sad. I was surprised. Is Nick the only judge on that show? That's so nice, Jay. Yes, we all should be praying for him.
Her since deleted blog post about the alleged incident. I thought I'd never have to see or hear from him ever again, until I later signed with his manager. Kenneth Career was a very powerful manager who I thought could help me make my mark as a recording artist. I quickly learned that Kenneth was thick as thieves with my abuser. This to me I found interesting because she knew at the time that he was Nick's manager. She said that their manager set up a showcase for her for a major label. She said we recorded a few songs and one of them was a duet with Nick. She said that they never recorded together though, that he had pre-recorded his part and she went in and recorded hers. She said that she tried to justify that maybe something good would come out of something very bad. Maybe this song might help me get signed as a solo artist and I could move on and put everything behind me. Her manager asked Nick if he would be willing to sing the duet with her live at her showcase and Nick agreed. Some things that people are confused about is that she said that she didn't want to see or talk to him ever again after he did what he did, but then she goes and records music with him and she also acted alongside him.
The scene that we ended up doing ended up being a more, I want to say, violent or aggressive scene where he grabs my arm. Didn't think that I would ever be able to confront him because he acted like everything was normal. I guess I used the scene as a way of I used it to confront him a little bit because that's what the scene was about.
You act like it's just another place on the map.
You're drunk.
But it's not just another place on the map. This is the birthplace of the most famous ghost story there ever was.
Ow, you're hurting me!
This should be the end-all, be-all of Halloween.
Scott, could you please get this gorilla off of me?
Another thing that people think is odd is she continued to speak to Aaron. There is a live stream where her and Aaron were both on it together, and Aaron in this is talking about how Nick is a and that he needs to come forward and talk about it if these things really did happen.
And, or at least, hold yourself accountable to it and talk about it and say, hey, if something did happen, I apologize or anything like that. And you have a better fighting chance with something like that versus not talking like my brother, with the whole thing. And I think it's better to say something, in my opinion. Yeah. But that's his prerogative, and I want to be left alone by them, and the Backstreet Boy fans are not my fans, and they do not belong here. They don't belong here. My fans are different. They're cultured. They're tech savvy. They're geniuses. They stay up all night like me. You know what I mean? It's a completely different kind of world.
But they're also impaired.
On top of the fact that Aaron apparently had allegations against him as well, where he sent pics to a 15-year-old. So people are like, if Nick did these things to you, why would you not only want to be on a live stream with his brother, but with somebody who also has allegations against them?
No. I can't. Okay. I legally can't talk about that. They put that in.
Or after you pics to the minor.
Facts, So I can talk about it
Listen,
after
what about
April
all
6th.
these women that are coming forward to me, Aaron? I got all these fucking women coming forward, and it's like one after another, man. Same story.
It's been happening to me since I was 12 years old. I never sent text to a minor.
Oh, okay. All right. You admitted that before, and now you didn't. So now
I never admitted.
You must be
like, bro, my back is against the wall and I'm in a corner. How can you say that? How can you be selfish and say that I'm not?
Listen, just back up out of it and let me handle it with my attorneys. I've already talked to them about it. They already know everything. The laws, everything that happened. This girl is the one who solicited herself to me.
Okay, but nevertheless, in the text, she says she's a minor and you still talk to her and sent her a picture.
Things from the, easily people can fucking Photoshop shit.
No, bro.
Are you kidding me?
Aaron, listen to me. As your friend, there's no API equipment involved. I checked it out. Trust me, you don't think I'm going to research the shit out of it? It's legit.
So Rick Batsuba sold the phone to blackmail me and extort me and to silence break me. Okay, cool. Well, then I'm still taking Nick down.
Okay, but
pass along the message.
Listen, forget Nick. This ain't about
No.
Nick.
No.
This ain't about Nick, bro. I don't talk. And text messaging her? Were you wrong? She apologized to you, but were you wrong texting her after she told you she was 15?
Was I wrong?
Yeah, your accountability is a big deal to me, bro.
Of course.
When I listen to Melissa speaking in the Dr. Oz clips, I do believe her. I also think that some of these clips are a little bit strange and I don't really know what to make of them.
Reached out to Nick Carter's team and he provided us with this statement. I'm shocked and saddened by Ms. Schuman's accusations. Melissa never expressed to me while we were together or at any time since that anything we did was not consensual. It's clear to me from the statement that Nick thinks this was consensual. Probably interpret it the same way. That has come up is that you were willing to continue working with him. You tweeted to him when he lost a relative, sister.
Yeah, I didn't think that I was ever going to be able to come forward. I never wanted to talk to him again, so I was certainly never going to go and, face him face to face. So many people were like, forgiveness will set you free. Forgiveness is not just for the other person, it's for you. I felt compassion for him in the loss of his family, and I felt like by tweeting him that, it was my way of extending my forgiveness. So with that, I can have compassion.
Now we need to talk about the Paris Hilton one. There are actually pictures of Paris Hilton with bruises all over her face from this incident. And she also talked about this in her documentary that she posted on YouTube called This Is Paris. Carter and Paris Hilton started dating in January of 2004, and then they broke up July 22nd, 2004. But on July 26, 2004, after running into Nick Carter at Joseph's Cafe in Los Angeles, Paris reportedly went home with Nick. 2 days later, on July 28, 2004, Paris Hilton is photographed with large bruises on her arm and her bottom lip swollen. Rumors began to swirl that Nick was the cause of the bruises, though Paris evades the questions pertaining to Nick and says, "I'm doing okay." On August 2nd, Nick tells People magazine, "I'll tell you one thing, I didn't touch her. I'm not that kind of guy, I would never do that." One of Paris Hilton's friends said that Nick wanted to leave and she didn't, and that is when he forced her to leave, making her get into a cab with him, and that he lost his temper and that she was scared to death, and that Nick has major anger management issues. We've seen bruises on her before and asked her about them. She has always denied it until now. August 3rd, New York Daily News reported that Paris Hilton decided not to pursue allegations against Nick through fear of character assassination in court. Also, it's important to note that Paris Hilton's father had been quoted saying that Nick had anger management issues after he witnessed an argument between the two of them. So there are people that have been around them at the time that they were dating that allegedly witnessed him and his anger issues that we kind of saw on House of Carters. Like, he obviously has anger issues. The level of angry that he got at Aaron for the stuff that he was mad at him for in the show was insane. Like, he went way too far. Now, this is where things get crazy. After this happened, after she was photographed with the bruises and all of the rumors began circulating that he assaulted her, her house was broken into and there was a sex tape of her and Nick that was stolen from her house. Now, he claims he had nothing to do with that, but the timing of it was extremely weird. Like, of all things to take, you take that. It came off like somebody was going to use that as revenge if she had said anything. And to make this even more crazy, the break-in happened with somebody that had a duplicate key. just right after the breakup had happened. Who would have a duplicate key? Not some random person breaking into her house trying to get this tape. Now, there were some tweets that were posted by Aaron Carter and Melissa Schuman that Paris Hilton liked. These tweets said, somebody had said to Aaron Carter, fucking speechless, also not surprised these women have all been silenced. As much as I'd like Paris Hilton to tell her truth about the abuse from Nick, it's her story to tell, because to be honest, no one's going to be believed until a big celebrity like her tells her story. Aaron Carter quoted it and said, Paris Hilton knows what's going on, trust me. She doesn't need to be dragged into anything, because my truth is my truth, and I witnessed the abuse to Paris for my brother. I was there. Melissa Schuman said, at Nick Carter, you are disgusting, nasty, repulsive, and you don't intimidate us anymore. We never desired you, and you know we said no. Hashtag silence breaking. Those tweets were liked in September of 2019. So these things have been popping back up throughout the years, and then when they pop up, they slowly fade away into nothing, as if they never happened. I really don't know what to make of this, you guys. Backstreet Boys was removed from the lineup of the Jingle Ball, and as I said at the beginning of this video, it's always so disappointing when you hear that somebody that's a part of a band that you like, they have this many allegations against them. And like I said, I've known for a while now that he didn't sound like the best guy, but this new thing, it just sickens me to my stomach. Now, there is also an interview that I think it was a podcast episode that Aaron Carter was on, where he's now saying that he doesn't believe these allegations.
I do not believe at all any of these allegations about him being, I've done my research, everybody involved, all the people, I'm not even going to say their names, it's not even worth it, but I've done my research, and y'all should have been cool as fuck and just shut the fuck up and let me do my research and see what was really up. Unfortunately, I tried to play God and stand up for alleged victims of Nick. To my brother, I would like to apologize and say I love you, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that, and I was there with you when it first happened in Tennessee and you broke out shingles in your back. I do not think they were true at all. I completely dismissed them completely. I actually became friends. That's why I'm the Joker, you know what I mean? I spoke to the victim and got friendly, played Two-Face, you feel me?
Ah, okay. So
joke's on her.
To learn her side of the story.
Correct. Joke's on you.
Wow.
That's why I always say my famous saying, I'm not playing your game, you're playing mine. So basically, Melissa Schuman accused Nick of rape.
I'm working on a huge video about the Carter family, and one thing I will tell you, Aaron always said one thing and then took it back by another thing. He's done this multiple times, so when it comes to what he's saying, it's hard to know which thing is true or not, because he's constantly changing his story. You guys are gonna have to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about this. And if you guys would like to see more videos and updates on this story, definitely give it a thumbs up and I will do that. Make sure you guys join my members content if you would like to see longer uncensored videos from me. I'm gonna be uploading this one at the same time this video goes up, so if you want to hear more details about this that I wasn't able to share in this video, definitely become a member. I also have a second channel where I post vlogs and things like that, so those will be linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will be seeing you guys soon for another one.